Hey, what's going on, guys? So I got an early copy of Vampire the Masquerade Swansong. So I wanted to make a video with my top 10 tips. The first tip is real easy. It's to run. So you can either tap B or O, depending on what system, and it's going to switch you in between walking and running, which can save you a lot of time, obviously. So I recommend running when you're covering distance, down like a hallway or something, and then walking when you enter a small room. This will slow things down and make it easier for you to find things that you have to click on. Alright, so tip number 2, I'm going to recommend that you take the time to read the lore and the character bios. The writers did a good job of inventing characters with interesting backstories. And also, knowing the other vampires' personalities will help you deal with them in conversations. And then knowing the lore will help you follow the dialogue. So when you're talking to another vampire, and then they're using terms like blood bond and sire, you're going to understand what they're saying. So I recommend pausing the game as you come across these characters and these terms, and just read up on them as you come, so you don't overwhelm yourself and you're not sitting there reading for 20 minutes. Alright, so tip number 3, levels should be taken slowly and methodically. You could easily miss something, which means you might miss a big chunk of important story, and then the game will just keep going and you won't even know. But luckily, the game tells you what you did right and what you missed at the end of each level, so then you have an option to go back and replay it, which I recommend. If you're a player like me, I don't want to miss anything, so I went back and just did everything, no failures, and then I picked up all the alternative options that I could have done. But there is going to be stuff that you can't do both. They're going to have an option between one or two things, so don't get too frustrated if you miss something. The levels are very layered, and they are meant to be done multiple times. Alright, so tip number 4, I recommend having a pen and paper with you as you play. You're going to discover a bunch of safe and laptop codes, and it's going to save you the time from running back and forth between a memo or a document in the other room to kind of figure out what the code was. Or even sometimes you can just take a picture with your cell phone of different things that you got to remember. It's going to make it a lot easier when you replay the level too. You'll just have all the codes right in front of you, and then you could save the skill points. So like right here is an example. When I first came through here with Gable, there was no way to figure out this code, but then I learned it later with another character, and then I was able to put it in on my replay. Alright, so this leads to my next tip, tip number 5. Don't use your skill and hunger points right away. So if you come upon a lock or a laptop that you can open with skill points, I would wait till you're finished searching the area, and then after you talk to everyone, you could usually uncover the codes through exploration, and then save the points for when you really need them. Like for here, there's a laptop. I didn't have the skill points to open it, but just exploring the area I was able to find the code. Alright, so tip number 6, a big part of the game is interactions with other characters through dialogue. You could upgrade your skills in things like rhetoric, persuasion, or intimidation to help get the upper hand, but if things aren't going your way in a conversation or a confrontation, I recommend just quitting to the main menu and then hitting continue. This will usually start you at the beginning of the conversation, so you can just start over and then pick a different option that works better. This is useful especially for confrontations where more is on the line, and if you lose one of those, you might actually fail an objective and mess up the whole game. Alright, so tip number 7, don't forget you could upgrade attributes too. So I didn't realize at first, along with disciplines and skills, you could raise attributes. So you got the physical, the mental, and the social. And then also be sure to check all the costs of leveling up. Sometimes you unlock bonuses that make leveling up certain skills and attributes a lot less. So for example, I unlocked the bootlicker trait here, and that's going to take 30 points off the experience cost for exploration the next time I level up. So that's a huge help. Alright, so tip number 8. Don't forget about the consumables, the one-time use items, and then the gear that you can equip. Each character has a different consumable that they can give you more skill points. For example, for Gable, he's got old coins. I think Laisha is a Polaroid. And then you could also pick up items like this thin blood watch, and then they can give you advantages in dialogue. But they do also have some setbacks, so just make sure you know what the trade-offs are. Tip number 9. So make sure to make use of the controlled hunts, not only to lower hunger, obviously, but you can get bonuses at the end of each level. depending on the blood type, I think, of the human you hunted, you could upgrade a discipline. So you could level up your Auspex or your Presence at the end of the level. And that's a huge deal. It'll save you a lot of experience points. And then also, every hunt increases the level on the talent gauge. So as you go, you can get a bonus of, the feeding bar can go slower. So that makes it a lot easier to get more blood without killing a human. And then you could also make the hunts more effective. It takes off more of the hunger points for you. Alright, so tip number 10, my final tip. Each character is going to have 3 upgradable disciplines. As you play, you'll see which ones get more used than the other ones. So like Lacia, she makes more use of Auspex, which is used more for investigating. uses Celerity a lot. It's a teleport power. It's got other benefits too as you upgrade it, like pickpocketing. Gable uses the Dominant discipline frequently in conversations. So they're the 3 I recommend upgrading those disciplines for each character. It's not completely necessary. It's just a tip from my playthrough. Alright, so that's all my tips. I just wanted to make a quick video, give you guys kind of a heads up what to expect. I'll link my review video to the end of this one, and then just stay tuned to my channel. I'm going to have a bunch of different videos, walkthroughs of the levels, and then guides to the achievements and the trophies. I really like this game, so I'm going to be uploading a bunch of stuff. Alright, so thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.
We must all remain calm and accept any help we can get, even from the most unusual sources.